Hello, this is Elizabeth Losey of elizabethlosey.com, and I am saying happy new moon in Cancer conjunct Jupiter on the 25th of June 2025 from Paris. I have been in Paris for the last day, and uh, I arrived in a beautiful, just magnificent apartment yesterday, right before the Jupiter Cazimi, which is when the sun conjoins Jupiter. And yesterday, they were at 3 something degrees of Cancer. Three, of course, is a trinity number. And then today's new moon in Cancer is still just within half a degree of Jupiter. So absolutely right there. Jupiter is the great benefic. So it represents all good things, plus possibly overdoing it a little bit. Um, and so this particular Jupiter inflected Cancer new moon. Also, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So as good as Jupiter is anywhere in the entire sky, the 360 degrees of the zodiac, it is especially yummy good in Cancer. Like it is more Jupiterian in Cancer, even than in its home signs of Sagittarius and Pisces. So this particular new moon, I've opened the records and I've asked the keepers for a message for the collective that, is in my orbit. And so I haven't previewed this message at all. I'm just channeling it straight out for you today. And the message is embrace it all. Embrace it all, embrace it all. Really lean into the yumminess because for really all the humans, you don't even have to be an American or living in North America to feel the pressure of what has been going on in the US. Um, all all people with any kind of sense of connection to what's going on are feeling the stress of the instability within the United States political system. And this is the perfect time to look at that because with this new moon in Cancer and that great benefic sitting right there lighting up this new cycle. A new moon is a new cycle. It's a rebirth. And it is in aspect with Pluto, which is at 3 degrees of Aquarius. And of course, Pluto is the god goddess of rebirth, death and rebirth. And so this particular new moon is talking to Pluto. It's the sun and the moon and Jupiter all hanging out, maybe in a threesome kind of configuration, talking to Pluto over there and saying, "Hey, yeah, this is a rebirth," and it's also talking to Mars in Virgo, and Mars in Virgo gets things done. And so it's time to get things done. And I keep receiving for myself, I keep receiving two crystal pulls. They're just two crystals, which is very rare actually. Um, and but I keep receiving for the solstice and for today's Cancer new moon, my big stone was a carnelian, and my smaller stone was something else. Today it was um, labradorite for magic. So carnelian is a sacral chakra activator. It's a very fiery stone, and I'm like, oh, I'm so hot already. Like, do we need more fire, please? But it's a stone of making decisions. It's a stone of taking action. It's a stone of choices. It's a stone of just saying, yeah, this, not that. And I think this moment is asking people to make some choices. Now, I did pull stones for you. This is Elizabeth speaking, not the keepers for the moment. I pulled stones for the collective, and there were again two stones, and they were about the same size. And of course, if there are only two stones, then those are the headliners, and there are no extras to kind of wonder about. But the stones were Amazonite for speaking your truth, which came up last time I pulled for the collective, and smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is a stone of stability and grounding. Smoky quartz is a stone of mystery as well. Smoky quartz says, hey, if you want to, you can draw a cloak of invisibility around you right now. Smoky quartz is also a clearing stone. If you think about like, oh, I'm gonna sage my place, well, that's smoke. And so smoky quartz also has that clearing energy to it. So speak your truth, maybe clear the air when you speak your truth, but also possibly like there are some mysterious things at work. And the mystery does not have to be negative, right? I think for a lot of people for a long, long time, maybe not for you since you're in my world, for a lot of people, the mystery is like, ooh, kind of scary, like maybe you don't want to go there. But if you are here, the mystery is really calling you. I am all about moving through the mystery. One of my longest term clients, who doesn't like to be named because he's really quite famous, he has said that what he uses me for the most is moving through fear into love. And to me, that's this movement inside the mystery, the like we start in a place maybe of like, oh gosh, don't know what's happening. It's kind of scary in here because it's dark. But I'm here to remind you that every new thing is born in the dark, whether we're talking mammals or plants or non-mammals and vertebrates, like things that are laid as an egg are also laid in the dark. And even if it doesn't have a hard shell like a bird, but like a fish egg, for example, it's in the dark, it's hidden, and it grows in the dark. Mammals grow in the womb, which is very dark place. And so the dark in our patriarchal culture, the dark has been vilified, right? The dark is like, ooh, scary place, don't want to go there. But actually, that is the place of power. That is the place of rebirth. That is the place of new beginnings, the dark. So just take a breath and feel how that idea cascades through your system. So at this Cancer new moon, where the moon and the sun are conjunct, that great benefic, the essentially like the Mardi Gras king throwing out beads and candy and goodness and gifts, just abundantly, Jupiter, and talking to Pluto, death and rebirth, and also to Mars, who's over in Virgo, getting stuff done. And then Saturn and Neptune at 2 and 3 degrees each of Aries. That's the very beginning of the zodiac. You know, it's been 12,000 years since Saturn and Aries crossed over that world axis, Aries point, the end and the beginning of the zodiac, that omega to alpha moment. And so it is new beginning times, new beginnings. Like it's time to write your ticket. It's time to not figure out what you're here to do, but to listen deeply. This is more about the mystery. Like, sink into what is there for you. What are you here to do? What are you here to do? Ask your body, ask your heart. What are you here to do? Now, I love the fact that I am right now in France. I've been in France since the 12th. Um, we left the country, the US, to fly to Paris, um, really just right after Jupiter crossed into Cancer. And of course, Jupiter is the planet that rules wisdom and higher education. And partly I'm in France to sort of reclaim my professor part. Like, I had really repressed the fact that, yeah, I used to be a professor. I'm a multiple published author. I have a book and a gajillion articles and gave academic papers in the US, in Canada, in Europe, in Africa. So, um, yeah, it's a sincerely um, important time for me. So it's a sincerely important time for me to be reclaiming that higher education part of me, which is very Jupiterian. The other thing that Jupiter really rules outside of abundance and expansion and joy is spirituality and wisdom and philosophy and knowing. And so it just seemed like so completely aligned for us to be flying to France, back to this home place where I've been for right at that moment, and then to be arriving in Paris as Jupiter was met by the sun, and then today's uh, Cancer new moon conjunct Jupiter was happening as I stepped inside Notre Dame, which is, of course, in its own rebirth phase. And because, of course, it burned down on April 15th of 2019. And one of the most touching moments for me was when in one of the side chapels, they had um, sitting there the Le Coq Français, which is a rooster, which is the symbol of France, that had been found in the ashes uh, after the steeple fell, um, and you could still recognize it as a rooster. It was a it looked like it was very representative. You could tell, you could absolutely see, oh, rooster. But also it looked very childlike, like maybe a good artist, like a good, a future artist as a child drawing the rooster. I'll share a picture, but it just made me cry. It's like, oh yeah, Le Coq Français, reborn from the ashes, as I was really sitting with all of the rose imagery. This whole trip has been for me about roses. And of course, there were rose windows, which were sort of as best they could put back into shape, and different um, different roses that I had not previously noticed inside Notre Dame. A 5-petal rose, which is very much Venusian, which of course predates Notre Dame as a Christian iconography or even idea. It's Our Lady. Um, and the lady, of course, is the goddess. Um, in this case, in the guise of the Virgin Mother of Christ, but still the origin of life, the goddess. And in, of course, Christian ideology, she's kind of decentered a bit, to make room for the Father God and then the Son God, Jesus, but S-O-N, Son. But really, I mean, this church is dedicated to Our Lady. It is preserving the role of the mother and holding as central the feminine, just straight up holding the feminine as central. Yes, um, I feel like all the churches dedicated to Notre Dame, and we'll check with this in a second with the keepers, but it seems that all the churches dedicated to Notre Dame are recentering or holding in the center the lady, the feminine, that Christianity was very much attempting to relegate to the margins. And of course, that energy got more and more intense as you approach the burning times. And yes, women are not allowed to have power. And wise women being burned at the stake, including Joan of Arc. So here we are. I'm just going to take a moment to reconnect with the keepers, and they're so happy to talk to you. This message from the keepers then for this Cancer new moon is just enjoy, lean as far into the joy as you can. Feel yourself held. Know that whatever you choose right now is the best choice to make. So make a choice, choose. It's the choosing time. Make a choice, make a choice. And it will be a good choice. Trust, trust, trust that it will be a good choice. Speak your truth. Ground it to the planet. Clear the air with your truth. Make a choice, make a choice, make a choice. And no, the keepers want to remind everyone that this is not the end of the story, right? That there essentially is no end of the story. It's all just another chapter. This is a new beginning. This is very much this, the early months of 2025 are very much death and rebirth times. Like, okay, it's the end of a 12,000-year cycle, and it's the beginning of a new 12,000-year cycle. And it's the beginning of it's the end of a year-long cycle and the beginning of a year-long cycle. It's the end of a 12-year cycle. It's the beginning of a 12-year cycle. It's all of these, it's a confluence of endings and beginnings. And it is powerful. And if you are really feeling the endings and you're feeling overwhelmed by all the things that seem to be falling apart and disintegrating and disappearing and dying, first of all, we say, yes, it is true. You're not wrong. Things are disappearing, things are dying. And yet they are disappearing and dying and falling apart and disintegrating in order to make room for the new. There is a powerful new movement underway. It's already underway. It's been seated in the stars for millennia. This is the time. It's such a powerful time you chose to incarnate on planet Earth. It's so powerful. So yes, honor the things that you loved or that you were somehow attached to because they helped you feel steady, like you knew the landscape. Honor those as you give them a proper funeral. You can even come together with your family or your friends around your hearth. Cancer is the sign of home and hearth. But Jupiter being the sign of foreign travel and wisdom from all over, it's like make your home and hearth an international place, maybe, or welcome what you would call foreign influences into your home. It might be time for that. Listen to your intuition. Jupiter in Cancer is all about intuition. Jupiter is about spiritual knowing, and Cancer is that mother. It's the womb space, it's the heart space, it's the nurturing. It is highly intuitive. So this intuitive planet in the intuitive sign, this is the time of your knowing. Of course, you can ask for help in the knowing and the like making the decisions, but this is the time of your knowing. This is a rebirth time of, okay, now I get to lean into my own personal mystery and discover where it wants to take me. What adventure lies ahead? This is what it's all about. Elizabeth is appreciating the French siren, which is unlike American sirens. Lean in. This is a new cycle. Whatever choice feels like the best choice to you, go ahead. And choose joyfully. This is not a time to choose from a place of lack, because there is no such thing as lack right now. There are so many opportunities, so many new things cropping up. And if you're feeling really intensely the loss, again, that's okay. Have some kind of funeral. It doesn't need to take more than 10 minutes or even more than 5 or 2 minutes to give a proper burial to these things. And then once you've given them a proper burial, turn your face towards the sun and say, okay, I'm ready for the next. What's new? What's out there? What's on its way? Yes, I'm here for this. Because in fact, you are. If you're listening to this, it's because you chose to incarnate at this very, 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 very special time. Yes, 100% yes, it's all good. It's all good. 100%. Just let the truth of that kind of wash over you like a rose-scented bath. Like someone is pouring special, sacred, rose-scented water over your head and just clearing you of old energies, because that is what's happening. You're being cleared of old energies. As soon as you can let the old stuff go with love, then it's time to turn around and welcome the new. You can watch the sunset and then turn around and watch the sun rise. You know, in the northern hemisphere, especially north, where I am, Elizabeth is, there's not too much space between the sun set and the sunrise. There is some rest, but for example, in Iceland or Scandinavia, the sun doesn't really go down. In Alaska, the sun doesn't really go down. And deep in the southern hemisphere, the sun stays hidden most of the day because it's winter your time. And we're still in this phase of the solstice, kind of echoing out. And it's so beautiful that the solstice patterns, all the solstice patterns, and then the Jupiter Cazimi pattern, all of that is held within the new moon code, this Cancer new moon. So abundant, so much room for getting things done, so much available of the death and rebirth, and a powerful new 12,000 year cycle. And everything set up to support you. Trust it. Trust it. Okay, that's all the keepers wanted to say today. So, before you stop listening or click off, just say to yourself out loud or in your head, I call my spirit back. And say it as many times as you need to feel like you're totally back in your body. You might, pinch yourself lightly or rub your hands along the top and back of your head or along your arms or your legs, stomp your feet a little bit, do a warrior pose. Whatever you need, drink water, whatever you need to feel like you're no longer touching the Godhead, but are truly embodied, because this is your place of power inside your body. Yeah. So, and I'm going to close these records by saying, oh, gosh, so much love from the keepers. Love for life and all it holds. We step into the world with love and joy. Amen. The records are closed. So, thank you for listening today. And I wish you the most abundant and full of blessing and joy and discoveries and new wisdom this lunation. It is really, truly full of blessings already. So it's your job just to pick them up and say, okay, I claim this. Thank you. And if I can just take another moment to talk about my journey, it has been so powerful. All the roses showing up for me, and the card I pulled for myself from the Rose Oracle today was the Rose Thread, and it basically said, yeah, this is the card of the mystic, which is what you are, and I know that that's true for me. And I felt into the essence of the card before I left to go to Notre Dame, but I didn't fully take in the message of, the life of the mystic, the one who walks the rose path, holds a thread and is reweaving the thread of the feminine in the world. And I actually do know that I have been doing that for well over a decade, actually for at least, I don't know, probably over 40 years now, but really dramatically, very deliberately as an oracle for the last 15 years. But well before that as well. All of my academic research and publications were about the feminine from the beginning. So I'm so thrilled to be on this rose path with you. And if you are feeling at all called by Marry Your Magic, which is all about the rose path, it's all about coming into your personal power. It's all about stepping into a new form of leadership. It's all about owning your feminine assemblage of gifts. That's what I call magic. When I say it's your magic or my magic, it's an assemblage of gifts. It's time to collect all the parts that maybe you exiled or walled off or amputated because it wasn't safe for you when you were a kid. But guess what? You're not a kid anymore. And also, the world needs all hands on deck right now to build the new one. Because there is a new world in the offing. And so the choice facing everyone is, what world am I going to be building? Am I going to be participating in a world of cruelty and imbalance and injustice, either overtly or by not making a choice and staying silent? Or am I going to speak my truth and say, you know what, that's not the world I want to build. I want to own every single part of me, all the parts of me that were shamed when I was a kid, because those are my superpowers. That's nothing to be ashamed of. But it was scary to the adults around you that you were so powerful. So of course you had to hide them. Hide them even from yourself. Like that's some pretty powerful hiding. Like hiding it so well that you even forgot that existed. And if you feel, maybe you don't, but if you feel like it's time to step back into that, to hold all the threads of your power, all the threads of your gifts, all the parts of you that you buried because the world didn't have space for him, for them, for you, for your power, your magic, your wild leadership, your radiance. Well, then, I invite you to join me in Marry Your Magic. It's for women only. And I'm not saying that men don't have a feminine side, because of course they do. But if you were raised as a man, you had a very different experience than the women in the world. So just saying. So if you are a woman, if you feel like you want to increase your shine and radiance, if you want to know exactly what you were here to do, or if you are already clear on that, like exactly how your magic is meant to be showing up in the world. Marry Your Magic, there are two levels. There's the basic level, which is very full and complete, and you're going to be working with your guides and your essence self and really uncovering all the things. And then there's a slightly upgraded level where you and I will get into your Akashic records and we will discover exactly what your magic is and how best to embrace all the parts of you and how to deploy them in the world. So this is a program by application. It's not even a program. It's a journey. It's an adventure. It's alchemical. I hold a very tight container. It's quite transformational every time I do a journey such as this, but this is my first ever time doing Marry Your Magic. If you feel like there's some, even just a small niggling about, I wonder, go and apply. Now, like I said, I'm in Paris for 2 more days and then I'm traveling back to the US. So I might not be able to get back to you right away to have our one-on-one exploration. It's a one-on-one meeting to establish resonance. And it's a time when you can ask questions, you know, you can talk about like, okay, how does this apply to where I am? And I can answer your questions. This is a new moment in the world. Everyone is making new contracts with themselves and the world at large. Marry Your Magic is the perfect way to write this new contract with yourself, write this new contract with the people in your life, write this new contract with the world, write this new contract with maybe your colleagues or your clients or your friends, your family, those people that mean the most to you. It's time. I mean, it's happening anyway, whether you decide to or not. It's already underway. And yet, if you would like my guidance through this period, I am really happy to be there for you. Apply to Marry Your Magic. Okay. I hope you're feeling grounded again. Stomp your feet if you're not. Drink some water. Eat some grounding foods. Any kind of high protein thing is grounding. And I will say happy, 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 joyful, abundant, blessing-ridden Cancer new moon to you. Mwah. With a big bees from Paris, I'm Elizabeth Losey of elizabethlosey.com. Just feel it in your heart. So delicious. Bye for now.